Robert's biological father was brilliant and charismatic, finishing his 4-year undergraduate degree in less than 2 years. Then going on to obtain a master's and PhD at 2 prestigious universities before rising to the #1 position in the state of Hawaii's educational system. He left debts to be paid upon his death, while Robert's mentor, who never even finished 8th grade, became the richest man in the state, leaving tens of millions to his family and charity. Formal education teaches scholastic and professional skills, not financial skills. Even finance classes are purely academic or professional and don't really teach what it takes to become rich. The ubiquitous focus on formal schooling leads to graduates who may have good grades but still have a poor person's financial programming. The first lesson is named as "The Rich Don't Work for Money." Robert starts with a lesson juxtaposing the rich and poor perspectives. The poor and middle class work for money. The rich have money work for them. The course of study that the poor and middle classes take is the conventional method. Study hard in school, get good grades, then get a safe job with excellent benefits at a big company. The course of study to be rich is very different, and most people never take the time to learn it. Instead, most people are stuck in an endless cycle of fear and greed. Fear of being without money compels them to work for it. And when they get the paycheck, greed makes them spend what they work for. They work hard to get paid more, but then follow up raises with more debt or more expenses. Most people want to feel secure with their money, so passion doesn't direct them, fear does. It's certainly easier to work for money, but it is not safer. You'll get much more security by investing your time to create assets that generate money, rather than only getting paid for your hourly labor. Learning how to do this is the course of study to become rich. The author has little sympathy for people who say, "I'm not interested in money," or "money isn't everything." If that's how you feel, why are you working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for it? Lesson number 2 says, why teach financial literacy? Financial literacy is something that is not taught in schools, even in finance classes. It's a shame because financial literacy is really very simple. There is only one rule. Know the difference between an asset and a liability and buy assets. The poor and middle class don't become rich because they buy liabilities that they think are assets. The difference is simple but profound. Assets create income, liabilities create expenses. Assets move cash into your pocket, liabilities move cash out. For example, most people think of a house as an asset. By the accounting definition, it is. But in reality, your home results in cash moving out of your pocket. The mortgage payment, insurance, property taxes, and worst of all, the missed opportunities from having your money stuck in your house instead of available to work for you. Instead of pretending your house is an investment, acknowledge it as an expense. If you want a house or a bigger house than you already have, first create assets that generate enough cash flow to pay for the liability that a house is. Most people mistakenly view wealth in terms of net worth or assets minus liabilities. The problem is, most of the assets people put in that equation are actually liabilities or are worth far less than people think. Wealth is not net worth. It is the number of days you could survive if you stopped working today. Lesson number 3, mind your own business. The poor and middle class spend most of their time and energy working for other people. The employer for a paycheck, the government for taxes, and the bank for mortgage and other loans. According to Kiyosaki, one particularly tragic fact is that if you calculate the amount paid for all types of taxes, the average person works 5 or 6 months out of the year just to pay the government. Don't confuse your profession with your business. That is your asset column. The traditional school and job path is generally a necessary thing. But the problem is you usually become what you study. Instead of allowing that to happen to you, don't lose yourself in your schooling or job. Rather, focus on your own asset column. You can keep your day job, but put your money in assets, like businesses, as long as you don't have to be around for them to make money. Stocks, bonds, mutual funds, rental properties, notes, intellectual property royalties, etc. Once $1 is in your asset column, never take it out. When you want to buy a liability, first buy an asset that generates enough cash to cover the liability. With this, we come to an end of the first part of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. There are few more eye-opening financial literacy to be revealed in the next part. Hi guys, we are now into the second part of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. In the first part, we saw the importance of financial literacy. Let's see what Robert has to say in the subsequent chapters. Lesson number 4 says, The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. The author dwells into the origin of income tax and the age-old battle between the rich and those who want to take money from the rich. What is important is where that history has brought us in the present day. The rich play the game smarter, legally avoiding taxes, while the middle class contributes to most of the government spending. Another important tool is the corporation, which allows you to set up separate assets or entities that generate income. The key here is that while an individual is taxed before expenses, a corporation or a business is taxed after expenses. This simple rule means that if done properly, you can legally write off vacations, car expenses, health club memberships, restaurant meals, and so on. The poor earn, pay taxes, then spend. The rich earn, spend, and then pay taxes. Robert then revisits the idea of financial literacy, summarizing it in 4 parts: accounting, investing, understanding markets, and law. Lesson number 5 says, the rich invent money. 300 years ago, land was wealth. With the Industrial Revolution, wealth was owned by the industrialists. Today, wealth is information. People complain that they don't have enough money to take advantage of the deals they see. Even more often, they have opportunities that they can't see. Most people know only one solution: work hard, save, and borrow. They don't understand that both luck and money are things that are created. In contrast, the rich know that their mind is their most valuable asset. Essentially, you have 2 options in life. The first one is work hard, pay taxes, save anything left over, and get taxed on the savings again. Or the second option is take the time to develop your financial intelligence and harness the power of your brain to create assets. Most people buy packaged investments from real estate companies like 2 BHK flat or from brokers like portfolio management services. The rich create investments by assembling a deal themselves. To do this, you need to develop 3 skills. How to find an opportunity that everyone else has missed. Second, how to raise money. And third, how to organize smart people. You will have to take risks, but if you are informed and understand an investment, it's not as risky as it would be to someone who is just rolling the dice and praying. Lesson 6 is work to learn. Don't work for money. The author urges young people especially to seek work for what they will learn more than what they will earn. Aim to learn a little about a lot instead of seeking specialization, because specialization is for employment, not for being rich. Instead, take the jobs you need in order to learn to manage cash flows, systems, and people. In particular, the author recommends that you be sure to develop the skills of communication, sales, and marketing, as those skills combine well with other skills and are often necessary to create wealth. Overcoming obstacles. Mr. Kiyosaki lists the 5 reasons that even financial literate people may not develop their asset columns. First is fear. Specifically, the fear of losing money. People who make money are not afraid to lose it. The rich do not build their wealth steadily, never losing money. They learn how to limit their losses and turn their losses into opportunities. Cynicism. Cynicism comes from unchecked doubt and fear, and it is expensive. A cynic will always have an excuse for why something is not possible. They criticize instead of analyzing. For example, people who don't want to invest in real estate will say, "I don't want to fix toilets." Rich dad would buy a property at a price that would allow him to hire a property manager and maintain positive cash flow. Laziness. Usually, the laziest people are the ones who are busy. People stay busy in order to avoid problems they don't want to face, or to avoid the work necessary to develop their ability to become rich. Laziness by staying busy. Rich people have a desire that overcomes their laziness. Bad habits. Our lives are more a reflection of our habits than our education. As an overriding rule, the author insists that you pay yourself first. Take care of yourself first, physically, mentally, and financially, instead of paying first to your boss, tax collector, and landlord. Arrogance. The author defines arrogance as ego plus ignorance. The solution is quite simple. Education, specifically financial education. With this, we come to an end of the second part of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. There are a few more guidelines given by the author in the next part. See you in the third part of the book. Hi guys, welcome back to the third part of the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. This part of the book is titled as Getting Started. Have a reason greater than reality. You need to have a reason to want to be rich, or the hard realities of life will wear you down. This starts by knowing what you don't want, like to work your whole life, etc., and what you do want. Choose daily. Every day and every rupee is a choice to be rich or poor. Our spending habits will reflect who we are, and not the other way around. For example, poor people will spend their active income on luxury car, expensive watch, home theater, expensive cell phone, and travel in business class. Whereas rich people sacrifice the short-term luxuries by living below their means and use their active income to buy cash-producing assets. They then use the passive income to upgrade their standard of life. Choose your friends carefully. Don't choose your friends based on how much money they have, but be careful about being around cynics or people who don't like talking about money. They will rub off on you. Instead, do your best to learn from people who support you, teach you, and make you a better person. Pay your brokers well. This includes all professionals you rely on, lawyers, accountants, etc. Only select professionals whose services make you money or save you money, and pay them well. This is part of growing your asset column. Be an Indian giver. The sophisticated investor's first question is always, how fast do I get my money back? Make sure you have your significant upside while limiting your downside. Consider not only the return on investment, but also the assets you get for free when you get your money back. Assets buy luxuries. Don't buy a luxury until you have created an asset that pays for it. The need for heroes. Find investment heroes that make it look easy and imitate and be inspired by them. Teach and you shall receive. The more you teach people, the more you will learn. This principle holds true elsewhere in life. In giving, you will find that things come to you much more easily. Still want more? Here are few more to-dos. Stop doing what you are doing. Take a break and think about what is and isn't working for you. Look for new ideas. Read books on different subjects, particularly how-to books. Find someone who has done what you want to do. Take them to lunch and ask for tips. Make lots of offers. You never know which offer will be accepted, so make lots of offers to create great deals. Rejection is a part of the process, so get used to it. First, look for people who want to buy, then for people who want to sell. This is a practical tip for assembling a deal as discussed in lesson 5. Learn from history. Study success and imitate it. Action always beats inaction. If you don't know what to do, overcome your inertia and just get moving. As Harry Truman put it, imperfect action is better than perfect inaction. Contrary to popular wisdom, it does not take money to make money. It takes education about money. Start early, buy a book or go to a seminar. Start small and practice. It is what is in your head that determines what is in your hands. Money is only an idea. To conclude, this book is very much readable, a fact that may have been lost in my summarization of the key points. The lessons are presented in a story format, as the author talks and works with his rich and poor dads. The dichotomy is remarkably effective. Using the poor dad and rich dad as third-party illustrations to criticize certain behaviors so we don't feel bad about ourselves for making the mistakes the author condemns. If you read through these lessons and don't yet understand or agree with the rich dad perspectives, get the book and read the stories. This is a book of perspectives, and perspectives must often be caught rather than dictated. I can't resist, so let me summarize the summary for you. First, don't work for money. Work to create assets that generate money. For an individual to be wealthy, he must aim to own the system or means of production rather than work for another individual. The author stresses that there is obviously something confining about being an employee. It shuts the mind to other possibilities and it stunts initiative. Make putting things in your asset column your first priority, before what your employer, government and bank want. Study accounting, investing, economics and law. This will allow you to recognize opportunities and methods to successfully build wealth. Take a job only for skills it will teach you, never for the money it pays you. Finally, the book's theme reduces to two fundamental concepts: a can-do attitude and fearless entrepreneurship. With this, we come to an end of the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. If you want to dig deeper, buy the book from the given link.